Hello, beautiful community. How are you all? Well, Fador. A long, long time ago, we started this, our people's saving seeds and sharing seeds. One of the last things in our societies that are actually sacred anymore. We share our seeds. We don't sell our seeds, and I think it's really important that we have something that's sacred, that we can put our care and attention into, and like our ancestors, send them into the future. Because I have a friend who's a native Hopi, and he's been growing maize of his great grandfathers, and he said that every time he looks down at his hand when he's sowing, he sees a brown hand with a seed in it, and he thinks of all of the brown hands with seeds in them going into the past. Now, the way that our society's gone is we've kind of been tempted away to other things, like, I know most of us are probably YouTube influencers at this stage, so they tell me anyway. But to me, this is something really important and really good to keep going. And especially, again, I'll go on about community. I'm fixated with community. I don't know how you create it. I don't know how you keep it together, but I know it's really important. We used to have communities where we all went to school together. We went to mass together. We played GAA together. But now things are changing. There's people from all different places, and we need to create intentional communities where we can come together and we can learn off of each other and we can appreciate each other, and like I said before, create safe spaces where we can fail, where we can grow things and we can learn from the failures that we do, rather than being scolded for not doing the right thing or for failure. So to me, this is the whole thing with seed saving. This year we have plenty of squashes, plenty of tomatoes. We did a big grow out of different lettuce varieties, looking at anthracynins, which are the colours, the red colours and everything in the lettuces, which are actually medicinally very good for us as well. But one thing we've stopped doing, or we're kind of going away from, is the whole thing of vegetables being photocopies. You heard the crazy Boris Johnson thing that time about the EU were rejecting bananas because they were too straight or they were too bent. That's absolutely nonsense, really. And that's what we want to put back into. If you look at us all here, there are not two of us that look the same. It's the same in nature and the same in the crops that we should be growing. What we've been doing by keeping them held back and growing them so that they're individual varieties is they've been losing diversity at a genetic level. Genetic diversity has been lost from them. So what we're doing is we're opening them back up and we're allowing the genetic diversity to cross in amongst them. Now people would think, oh, this is dangerous, like you're not going to end up with proper crops. But our ancestors did all the hard work. They took these all from wild plants and selected them and worked with them and lived with them. I've been living with most of these for the year under my bed. So and so that's what we're really about, and to come together with our community to share our seeds for you to take home, and for you to grow, or for you to give to other people to grow, and so that we can gradually spread this thing. It is happening again. It is happening around the world. Whatever I say about the internet, it is a great vehicle for connecting people all around the planet, and so that's why I'd be a big opponent of going to seed. If you go on a computer and put going to seed in the internet, it's an organization of normal people with help from professional scientists and growers as well, to understand what it is that we're trying to do. And the fact that we've just been kind of taking seeds as an input into our growing systems, when really we should be producing the seeds that we need. We've wasted a lot of time by wasting money on things like this because we need to have the warmth for growing tomatoes. There's a massive genome of tomatoes. In fact, the original tomatoes came from the Andes, and then A small amount of those were taken to Mexico, and then a small amount of those were taken to Europe. So you can see how much diversity we're losing at every bottleneck that goes down there. So much so that some of the tomato varieties that we have now are new on the market. They're, people have gone back into that diversity to select for what a tomato is. A tomato is a fruit. You know, you shouldn't have to pick a tomato up and go, well, that doesn't taste of anything. You know, you just bite into it and go, oh my God, that's gorgeous. So that's what we're heading for with all of our crops. But not only that, when we grow them, we now know, because when we grow them locally, we grow them in this place, the individuality of this place, the weather, Knocknacree Woods up there, this is all comes down to the individuality of this place. That, like we have our gut biomes, each seed has its own biome created from the biology in the area that it grew. So us as growers, really, one of our main things is just making sure there's enough food for the biology, because the biology is so important to everything that we grow and how we live. Yeah, I mean, it's this around the world. It's not just seed banks that are growing as well. It's seed libraries. So you go along to your library, you get a book, you go to the little room next door, and you take out your seed that you want and sign it out. And then at the end of the year, you bring some seed back for that. So the seed libraries, and also communities, little growing communities. I was up in Killaloe yesterday. A lovely group of people there about a small growing area, and they're understanding it all as the importance. My thing has always been, farming is hard work. How can we make it easier? You know, I'm fed up of digging. I'm too old to dig. Now, I want to grow plants where I can take the seeds and throw them down, and they'll root and they'll grow. So what's stopping me from doing it? I can't buy them. Can't buy those seeds. I buy them from seed companies. Seed companies are there to sell seed, so that you'll go back and buy seed from them. So it's an input now. And that's another thing that's stressing farmers, is their inputs, the amount of inputs that we have to put in and the cost of those inputs. So I think, again, when you get into growing food and you find all the little hardships that there are with it, you start to earn respect for farmers and growers. And this is I think, in our society, in our supermarket kind of mentalities, we've lost this respect for the people who put all of their effort into what the food that they produce, that gives us the ability to produce our bodies and our minds. So, you know, I think it's one of those things as well that links you back into those people. So you know how much work goes into that beef burger. And also, if we keep cutting it and cheap it, we are cheapskates compared to our grandparents and our parents. They paid more for their food than we pay for our food. We're more bothered with the cost of a mobile phone than we are with the 20 cents for a kilo of Brussels sprouts from Tesco's, and how much effort it takes the farmer to produce that and how much return he gets back. This is why we're under 100 vegetable farmers in our country. It keeps going down and down. They don't want to do it any longer. Their children don't want to do it. It's not pleasant anymore. So by learning to grow our own food, we then develop a respect for those people. And we don't mind paying for the food, because we want good food. And if we put pressure on farmers, they're not going to have the economic ability to produce good food for us. It'll just be empty calories that we're receiving on our plates. And God bless us, like, you know, we have a brilliant hospital service, really, but they're overcrowded with us, like, you know. There's so many things that we should be looking at taking responsibility ourselves. We've left it off to politicians, and bless them, they're only short-term employees, you know. They don't have big views about things, and so things like our food system is basically collapsed in most cases. So I think that saving seeds and growing is part that we can all come together as communities and all learn, because, like I was saying before, in amongst this, we all have different abilities. This is the strength of community. You know, I might not know it in my head, or I'm forgetting it all the time as I get older. So And another thing is the young people, bringing young people up and respecting them for putting their lives into growing food for us and growing seeds for us. So I don't know where to go from that really. They're all out here. You can see what they are. Some of them we managed to package up, so you can help yourself to packages. If there's not enough seeds in the package, like tomatoes, we put about 12 seeds in there because we thought if you're a small grower, 12 seeds, okay, if 10 of them only germinate, you know what I mean? But if you want more seeds, there's seeds there. It's called a seed share. There's one seed that you won't find though, and that is greed. We don't sow greed in our seed bank. And again, it's not just me. I'm the one who kind of rabbits about it because I've been obsessed with it for a long time. But you know, Tony, all credit to Tony, she keeps it together and keeps it on track and keeps it running. And then there's Roisin and Roisin and other people that come every week.
We wouldn't be here
Gay.
without Shay.
Where's Gay? Is she here?
Shay, no, Gay
There's
isn't here.
Hastard down there as well. And I was going to say Shay, probably one of the most important guys. He's always here. He's making sure the place is like all these tables here because Shay's here. The soup's here because Shay's here. He tidies up behind us messy buggers all the time. So you know, talking about community, like you know, we all have our roles in our, even in our little tiny community, and there is something about seeds. So especially down in the beans, down the bottom there, run your hands through them. You know, for thousands of years that we've been doing this, we've been handling seeds. You probably wouldn't handle a lot of the seeds now in agriculture because they're covered in fungicides and things. But we are trying to expose our seeds to those things because we create so many seeds and we're trying to put so much genetics into them. We want to see what will happen. It's the future we're looking forward to. Because when I worked at Irish Seed Savers, we were told that 97% of our agricultural diversity has been lost up to the beginning of the 2000s. It's done that because we're not farmers anymore, most of us, or we're not growers. So if we all get our acts here, all that diversity will come back again. And like I said, we don't have to do what our ancestors did, which is to take these wild things and grow them for thousands of years to get them to the state where they are now. We just need to nurse these along into the future to give to our children and grandchildren. And when I say that, I mean our children, our species. There's only one human species. So look after it. So help yourselves and anyway, and enjoy it.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
And I could have very well repeated myself there.
Squash. There's 10 seeds. Squash is
And yeah, happy growing as well. We talked about these earlier. There's strawberry plants down there. If anybody wants to take strawberry plants, we have artichokes as well. If anybody wants to grow those, some people like them, some people suffer from them. But it's just another crop. And if you've got a place where you don't want you want a bit of privacy, grow artichokes. They grow about this big, and by midsummer nobody will be able to see any gardens, and they come up every year. So, there you go. And these ones are selected. You might have seen artichokes before. They're really knobbly, and they're a nightmare to try and peel. This is a selection that we have, which doesn't have that knobbly assumption. It just goes to show you that there is diversity in crops. So they're in their Latin family names. They start with the onion family. So Aliaceae is the name of the family. And then underneath I put what they are, onion, shallots and whatever. So you can go all the way around here. And we have empty packets as well. If you need empty packets, then there's tins about as well. No, enjoy. Yeah, but it's like if you